Welcome to this explainer. Are you just completely fed up with paying endless monthly subscription fees for cloud storage and media streaming? I know I am. Well, today we're going to build your own personal cloud literally from scratch, all using a Raspberry Pi 5. By the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to host your own photos and movies right from your desk, ditching those monthly bills for good.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap. We'll start with hardware assembly and OS, move right into storage formatting and Docker, and then set up Immic for photo backups, Jellyfin for media streaming, Samba for local file sharing, and finally Tailscale for remote access.
Now, before we start opening up terminal windows and getting super technical, I want to reassure you. If you hit any command line errors today, seriously, do not panic. As this quote hits the nail on the head, I highly recommend you use ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever large language model you prefer. They act as the perfect digital safety net. Just paste your errors right in, and they'll help guide you through any hiccups.
All right, Section 1, Hardware Assembly and OS. For this build, we're using a CanaKit Raspberry Pi 5, and assembling this thing, it's incredibly straightforward, basically adult Legos. You're just going to attach the heatsink and snap on the case. But hey, look really closely at Step 2 here. When you're plugging in that cooling fan, you absolutely must ensure the tiny yellow wire faces the outside of the board. Once you've got that sorted, pop in your 128GB microSD card, connect a 1TB external Samsung SSD, your power supply, and this is crucial. Plug an Ethernet cable straight into your router for a rock-solid connection.
Okay, with the hardware physically assembled, hop over to your everyday computer to flash the operating system. You'll download the Raspberry Pi Imager and select Raspberry Pi OS Lite. Now, in the settings, it's highly recommended to set your hostname to MediaPi. This is going to keep all our upcoming terminal commands perfectly consistent. Go ahead and create your custom username and password and make absolutely sure to enable SSH. That SSH toggle, it's literally the magic key that lets us control the server remotely from our computer without ever needing to plug in a separate monitor or keyboard.
Moving right along to Section 2, Storage Formatting and Docker.
So, when you SSH into your Pi from your computer for the first time, you'll want to run a quick system update. And then we need to format that external 1TB drive so Linux can actually use it. This table breaks down the sequence of terminal commands. We unmount and wipe the drive, then partition and format it to an ext4 file system. Once that's done, we mount it to a newly created directory called /mnt/storage. But listen up, please pay special attention to that last row. Make persistent. You absolutely have to edit a configuration file called fstab and add your drive's unique UUID. If you skip this vital step, your server will completely forget where your hard drive is the very next time you reboot the system.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we demystify Docker. Instead of installing messy, conflicting software directly onto our new operating system, Docker packages everything into neat, standardized little boxes called containers. You can think of Docker as this magical organizational engine that makes sure our self-hosted apps run flawlessly and independently on our server every single time.
To actually get Docker running, you'll execute Docker's official curl installation script directly from the terminal. After it finishes installing, you've got to run a super quick command to add your specific user to the Docker group. That just gives you the correct administrative permissions. And finally, you can verify the whole shebang is working perfectly by running docker run hello world.
All right, on to our first real app, Section 3, Image for photo backups. Setting up Image involves creating a dedicated folder, downloading some required environment variables, and running one simple terminal command, docker compose up-d. That little d at the end just means it runs detached, quietly doing its thing in the background. Once it finishes downloading the software, Image is instantly alive on your home network. You just open up your web browser, head over to your server's local address at port 2283, and boom, you are ready to create an account and start backing up photos right from your phone.
But hold on, I need to ground you for a second with the famous 3-2-1 backup rule shown here. If this little Raspberry Pi is going to hold all your precious family memories, relying solely on this single 1TB drive, it's an incredibly massive risk. I mean, hardware fails, and unfortunately, house fires happen. To truly protect your data, you should keep 3 total copies, stored on 2 different types of media, with at least 1 copy kept completely off-site. Seriously, don't let this be your only point of failure.
Next up, our Netflix killer, Section 4, Jellyfin for media streaming.
Okay, before we launch Jellyfin, there is a highly specific and absolutely vital troubleshooting step just for the Raspberry Pi 5.
Out of the box, the Pi 5 defaults to a 16 kilobyte kernel memory page size, which actually causes the Jellyfin Docker container to continuously crash on startup. To fix this, you just open the config.txt file in the boot firmware and add kernel equals kernel8.image. This forces the memory page size down to 4096 bytes, totally solving the crash entirely.
With that fix in place, Jellyfin runs beautifully. You access its gorgeous web interface through your browser on port 8096, create an admin user, and point it to the movies and TV folders we created on our hard drive. So the crucial point is right there at the bottom of the slide. You must go into the dashboard playback settings and set transcoding hardware acceleration to none. Remember, our tiny Raspberry Pi lacks a dedicated graphics card, so we have to turn hardware transcoding completely off to ensure smooth playback.
All right, let's figure out how to actually get movies onto this thing. Section 5. Samba Local File Sharing.
We achieve this by installing a tool called Samba. Samba is a network file sharing protocol. It acts as the crucial bridge that turns our intimidating, command line-driven Linux server into a friendly, everyday local folder. Once you have it installed, you can simply drag and drop files, like the open-source movie Big Buck Bunny, straight from your laptop onto your Pi's hard drive.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how simple it is to connect to that Samba share. On Windows, you map a network drive using the exact path: //media-pi.local/media. On a Mac, you simply open Finder, hit Command-K, and connect using smb://media-pi.local/media. Once you punch in your Samba password, your server's massive storage drive permanently lives right inside your regular file explorer. It's fantastic.
Finally, the piece of the puzzle that makes this a true cloud replacement. Section 6. Tailscale for remote access.
This is where Tailscale comes in to save the day. Tailscale is a zero-configuration VPN that basically acts as a magical encrypted tunnel. By installing it on your Pi and then downloading the app on your phone, Tailscale lets your devices securely see each other from anywhere in the world. It completely bypasses the absolute nightmare of configuring complex router port forwarding. You just flip the VPN toggle on your phone, and you can instantly access Image or Jellyfin even when you're miles away on cellular data.
There is, however, one final, incredibly vital administrative task for Tailscale. Once you authenticate your Pi with Tailscale, you must log into the Tailscale admin panel in your web browser and explicitly toggle Disable Key Expiry for this specific device. By default, these security keys expire every 6 months. If you skip this step, I guarantee you, half a year from now, you will be mysteriously locked out of your server and left scratching your head wondering why your photo backup suddenly stopped working.
And just like that, you are fully up and running. We journeyed all the way from physically snapping a plastic case onto a Raspberry Pi 5 to securely streaming media from across the globe. You've conquered the terminal, formatted hard drives, deployed Docker containers, and built an incredibly capable personal cloud. You've effectively replaced cloud storage and streaming with your very own hardware. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. Now that you have this powerful self-hosted empire sitting right there on your desk, what other